with NFTs and BitCoin. And today, the Fed is going to shake up the economy. All this and more in today's show. Stay tuned. Welcome, everybody. This is the Crypto Elite Mastermind. I'm Scott. He's Roman. I'm in Ecuador right now. Next week, it'll be Panama. And Roman, where are you in the world?
I am in Hawaii, hanging
Awesome.
out.
Hanging 5, hanging 10.
Hanging 10.
Awesome. So this is the premiere episode. I'm so excited. We're going to be taking the world of crypto and turning it upside down, because what causes success may not be what you think. So talk a little bit about the Crypto Elite Mastermind. What are our nefarious plans, Roman?
So when we were thinking about creating something of value, me and Scott got together and kind of mastermind on what it would look like. And so why we started this mastermind, or this Crypto Elite Mastermind, live or videos and podcasts and streams and all of this stuff, is because we believe that some of the world's greatest accomplishments have been brought to life through the mastermind. And so we knew we knew and we understood the power of the mastermind. And so we created the Crypto Elite Mastermind, and we want to kind of break it down into 3 parts here. And then crypto, lots of definitions out there for what crypto is. As of today, it is a form of payment that can circulate without the need of central monetary authority, such as a government or bank. And that's something that crypto solves, a huge problem in the world today. I've done extensive research and looking into how our banks reform, the central bank, the federal banking, central bank, and all that stuff. And if you really took a deep dive down the rabbit's hole into that area, you would kind of look at it and you'd be like, wow, we really need something so that we can move away from the central banking system. But you guys can go ahead. We'll be talking about that in other episodes as well, looking to bring that to light. Elite, we look at a person of elite who is a successful and powerful person. Now, when it comes to being successful and being a powerful person, a lot of it comes from, who do you want to choose to be? Now, an elite is more of a beingness instead of like a status, like, oh, you're an elite person because of all of your things that you have to show for it. But for us, the definition of elite is just if you have a desire to be successful, if you have a desire to be powerful, and powerful is obtained through many different ways. And I like to obtain power through knowledge and then through wisdom. And so gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom, that for me is my definition of power. And actually using, knowledge is gathering it. Wisdom is actually using the knowledge. And so the other part is the mastermind, is where it's a friendly alliance with 2 or more people, and we both have the same purpose and the same plan, and you see that plan and you see that purpose through. And so that's how we created the Crypto Elite Mastermind here. Scott, anything else you wanted to add to that on why we created the Crypto Elite Mastermind? What are we calling this thing? A stream, podcast, all
live stream. We're going to call it a live stream. Because we are live. And you can comment. And when you comment, we can see the comments and we can put them up on the screen and we can talk. So even though today there's the 2 of us, this is our first show. I'm not really expecting anybody to come on. But in the future, what we want is you to share your wisdom as well. And I love what you said about, knowledge is one thing and wisdom is putting that knowledge into action. And that's really, really why a lot of people, I think, fail, is because they don't take the action with the knowledge that they've got. And this is a journey, and it's not about us being up on a pedestal and telling you what to do or anything like that, as much as it is letting you see our perspectives, and those people that resonate with that will join us, and we're going to have this this group that I hope increases and gives value and value. Our plan is 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 Eastern, which would be 10 o'clock Pacific, and I guess 8 o'clock in Hawaii. I've got to make sure I don't leave out Hawaii now.
Yep.
And we're gonna go live. And Roman has a lot of success in trading in stocks, day trading and swing trading in stocks, and he's going to take that expertise and bring it over to those of us that are in the crypto space. Because I can tell you, one of the things that I love about day trading is the fact that at night you're out of the trade and you can sleep well. And if there's anything that Bitcoin has shown over the last couple of years, is it can go to the stars and fall back down to the depths of the ocean. It's at 37, I think, today. And I thought yesterday it was 70, Roman. I mean, and the saddest story I've heard was when it hit an all-time high of $19,342.56 or whatever it was. And some guy said, yeah, this thing's going to the moon. So he mortgaged his house and put everything into Bitcoin. So don't do that. And it dropped down to like 4 or 5, 6 in around there when he posted about what he did and said, what should I do? And that's long past when you should have done something, my friend.
One thing that a lot of, my friend who got me into crypto in 2015, our saying together is, don't invest what you're not willing to lose.
Yeah.
And so everything that we've put into crypto, we know that this is a risk capital. This is money that we're putting in that, if we make money, great. If we don't, it's okay. And that's the way you got to approach this crypto space, because it's so new. Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's very new and it's very not stable. Like, I don't know what to call it. It flies up and it flies down, and it shows no. When it hit 69 or whatever thousand, like whatever it was in that area, everyone was convinced it was going to 100. And now, I think it got very close to 30. So that's like doubling and then halving and doubling and then halving. And if you're on the doubling side, great. If you're on the halving side, it's a bit of a problem. So we're talking about, proper investment strategies and philosophies that'll keep you hopefully out of trouble. And like you said, Roman, something like crypto, you have to be, it's just electron, right? That's all it is. Like, you're watching us right now. You're not really watching us. You're watching electrons on your screen flashing in such a way that you see yellows and blues and blacks and pinks and whites and something that looks like a crypto coin in the background, right? Like, it's not real. And I was thinking about this actually yesterday when I was considering what we were going to be talking about, Roman, and I thought the value of anything is what somebody will pay for it, right?
For sure.
And so people don't think about that, right? Like, so someone 2 months ago would pay $60,000 for a Bitcoin, and then today is 37,000, right? So what changed their opinion?
Yeah. Well, I gotta show you. So, Scott, do you see this thing in my hand here?
Yes.
Do you know what this is?
I have no idea.
You don't know what this little black thing is right here, right? So this is a shungite crystal, okay? Or it could just be a rock. It could just be a rock. Now, the value came into this rock when the lady at the crystal store decided to, grab it, label it as shungite, look at the crystal benefits of having a shungite, and then label the benefits on right next to the rock. And so apparently the shungite crystal is supposed to block the EMFs off of the computer screens, and it's supposed to like protect your body from all of the electromagnetic fields, right? The EMFs. And so if you put this on your desk here, it's supposed to shield you from, all the harmful rays. I don't know if that's true. I can't tell if it's true or not, but doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to buy one of these and put it on your desk if you're looking at 6 computer screens, right? So it's just that knowledge and then the education and then the benefit, and that's kind of
and the
like what's
belief,
happening,
right?
and the belief, right?
I mean, you had enough belief to say it sounds okay. I'm going to do that. And it's really funny because I have this, and a spiritual teacher in Vancouver, where I'm from, says, you know what? I make this thing, and he tells me all the stuff. I don't remember what's in it, right? And it's like a hockey puck. And he says, what it does is, if you think of and it's almost the same story that you had, right? But if you think of the radiation off of your computer, the EMFs that are, from cell phones and all the rest of it, what this does is, he says, it's kind of like a buzz saw in the air, and it goes through and it just sort of cuts, like on a, not physically necessarily, well, maybe very small cuts. He says this takes the edge off of the buzzsaw, so then it just goes right through you and there's no damage done, and it covers an area of like 12 square feet or something like that.
The interesting thing is, like, how do they prove that, right?
Yeah, and maybe there is something that they can, what got me into EMFs, and here we go off on a tangent, but this is the point of a mastermind, is there are devices that record it. And the people that use those devices are electricians, right? Because they, or guys that work on microwave towers, right? They have this thing, they look at it, it's at, I don't know, pick a number, 10, it's okay. Then they see it goes up to like 200 and they know it's going to cause cancer. So they go and they turn something off, or they back off, or they're like, there's a problem, right? And they figure out how to fix it, right? So I think these guys, I mean, if it was me, I would have got one of these devices and I'd put this down and I'd have the device and I'd see 10, and then I'd take this and I'd put it, in a lead line box or 20 feet away or something. And then I'd look and I'd see it's 200, and I can say, well, this is protecting me from this EMFs and everything that's in the ground. And, I don't know if it works or not. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's tools out there where you can measure, the amount of EMFs that this thing is blocking.
That's right. And so there are also tools that people write called programs that help you trade better. And that's one of the things that we'll probably talk about in the coming weeks and months, are some of these tools that can help you. Because I think if you just pull up Yahoo charts and look at BitCoin, it's not really going to tell you enough to be able to make some smart decisions. And we want to be able to impart some knowledge with you and combine that with wisdom, so that you're able to move through the world in abundance. Like, we really think that there's so much in the world, so many amazing places. There's so much fun that you can have. Why live, eat good food instead of crap, all that sort of good stuff. And so I think what we should do now is head over to the news. So we're going to do the news right. Awesome. Okay, so the first bit of news is today, right now, Bitcoin is 37,771. And I was going to share my screen. Oh, there it is. And just show everybody. I hand it over to CoinDesk. Oops. Push the wrong button, I think. No. There we go. Bitcoin 37. I don't know if there's a chart here or not. Oh yeah, there is.
I can share my screen.
So it looks like it's going up. Of course, that's one day. Let's take a look at 1 month.
I can share my screen, Scott. I can kind of explain on what's going on with the Bitcoin here.
All right. Are you sharing?
Yeah, hold up. Where's my screen here? Okay, we're sharing. You see it?
Yeah, here it comes.
All right, so here's the Bitcoin charting system here going on. And there's, I've been trading for about a year now, stocks and all that. So when I first looked at a chart like this, I was like, this is crazy. This looks all kinds of like some kind of encryption that I got to crack, right? So
yeah,
I'll do my best to kind of explain it for really, really new people here. But what chart we're looking at here is we're looking at the day chart. So each candlestick represents a day. So if you look here, Bitcoin peaked up here at almost like 70,000 at its peak and then just dropped, and it's continuing to drop here. And these big red bars and green bars at the bottom is our volume. So if you see like a big giant spike here, that's a lot of people selling. So somebody spent all day selling here because this is one day candlestick. And then you can kind of see people buying it, buying and selling here. And then it dropped again, buying and selling again, and then it dropped again. So
we talk about bulls and bears, right, Roman? Like the bears are the people that are, they're bearish on the market, it's going to go, and the bulls are the one that's going to go up. So where it went up, like almost straight up, that's where the bulls were in total charge, right? Like here. They were charging ahead, and then the bears, they were pulling it all down on the other side. And that's a way of sort of talking about market sentiment, right? There are more people that think it's going to go down than think it's going to go up. And so they're getting out as fast as they can. And of course the prices are dropping the way, just the way that auction works, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with news and everything. And so like right around this area is when the federal government came out with their news that they were gonna, stop holding the economy up and stop printing money. And Bitcoin is one of those things that thrive off of inflation. So the more inflation there is, the more valuable Bitcoin gets.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was right around here the news came out, and then Bitcoin just dropped and is continuing to drop here. And nobody knows where the bottom is. People speculate that, hey, 30,000 could be the bottom. The bottom is where the stock will find its.
But we know the final bottom is zero.
Negative. Well, yeah. You know what? One thing my friend has always told me, he says Bitcoin, since the beginning of Bitcoin, it's never gone to zero. So, it's never gone to zero before. So,
I guess it really couldn't, because then how would you buy it if it was zero?
Yeah, not too sure. So, but one thing everyone's kind of talking about is that Bitcoin right now is trading below all support lines. So when you find something that's trading below support lines, it's really tough to find where the stock can bounce back or return back. And so these lines that I have up on my screen here, these are our support lines, and it's trading well below our support lines, which our support lines are right around here. And it's been trading below support lines since the drop off. It did try to break through here, but someone just decided nope, and it continued to. The bears are in charge, as you can see, here.
So this is when I can recall 30 years ago, one of my stockbroker friends saying, you know what, the stock of IBM has dropped a little bit in the last while, and that's what we call a sale. So you should buy it, because it's buy the dip is the way we phrase it. So this is a good example of why you shouldn't buy the dip, because it hasn't finished dipping yet.
True, yeah. So, as traders, we look for certain indicators that show a reversal. And so right now, there hasn't been a sign of a reversal yet. There's been little moves here and there, but nothing really significant like a bear, like a bull run. So
So you've been watching this far closer than me, and over time. So I'm kind of curious. In the past with Bitcoin, has there been kind of an obvious, we've come to the end of the drop? Because you can see it's done. I mean, it's done it before, right? It hit 20, went down to 5, and then I think it went to something else and then dropped down. And so are you looking for a
So
specific?
something that caught my attention with Bitcoin here. So we did trade back up in the 60s before. This was like last year, April, and then it dropped back down to like the 30s again, and then it really kind of didn't go below, I think, 20, like 25. I think people were speculating like, oh, it's gonna hit 25, but it kind of stayed above the 25K, and then it returned back, had a little drop here again, but then eventually it came all the way back up to its previous price, up in this close to 70K, and then now we're kind of dipping below again to the 30 area, right? And so that's something that I'm noticing, is that, hey, we've done a dip before. It's nothing too scary, um, to but it'll get scary if it drops below 25, because it hasn't been 25 since its start of its major bull run back when, what year was this? This is 2021, the beginning of 2021, when it was at it was kind of hovering at the 10K, and then it started moving up a bit, and then that was 2020. And then when the start of 2021 came around, that's when it broke through the 25 new highs here, and started on its climb up to new highs, and breaking new highs every single time. And this is when the hype was around, like, oh, Bitcoin's going to 100K. And then it tanked, and everyone was like, oh, what's going on here? And then it returned again. So, I mean, we're kind of following that pattern of, dipping down to like the 30 area, and then eventually returning back. And I think Bitcoin right now has an average of about like a 200% return a year. So, I mean,
Well, I mean, if it drops down to 30 and then pops up to 70 every year, then it's going to give you that type of return, isn't it?
yeah. And
Not necessarily a good long-term investment, but certainly get in, ride the bull up, and then get off and watch the bear go down.
True. Yep.
One other piece of news that's occurring today, yesterday and today, the Federal Reserve met. So they're going to be meeting, and this is usually in the stock options and stock market world. It's usually a day that you just sort of sit back and watch what happens, because who knows. And they usually come out in about, well, it's either now or in half an hour. I think they come out and they make some sort of announcement, and it's usually we're leaving interest rates alone, or we're increasing interest rates, or we're dropping interest rates, or whatever it is. And some people are suggesting that interest rate hikes are likely to be modest in 2022, but there could still be enough of a change to affect the equation on speculative bets, which means places like Bitcoin could be
so for
really
for
moved
someone
by the market.
For someone who's not into finance and doesn't understand when the Feds talk about interest rates, Scott, would you like to kind of shed a little bit more light on what is it? What are they talking about when they say interest rates? Federal government.
Well, they're talking about the interest rates that the banks are going to be charged, and then they're going to mark that up, and they're going to charge us for mortgages or loans. So one of the reasons, so basically the big money, like Wall Street.
So where does the bank get their money from? Who do they borrow money from?
They get it from the Fed.
They get it from the Feds.
That's right. They get it from the Federal. They get it from the Federal Reserve. So the United States government could print its own money, but for some reason, and pay, guess what? Nothing. The price of the paper, I suppose. And most money is, just like we were talking earlier, electrons, right? You get on the screen, Go to your bank's website, you look and you see you've got money there.
The funny thing about digital currency is, like, I think we've been messing around with digital currency way before Bitcoin even showed up, right?
That's right.
It's when we went over to credit cards.
Yeah.
Credit cards is a form of digital currency.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Scott.
PayPal's a form of digital currency. And, when you can go to Amazon, say, I want this, Amazon delivers it, and you don't take any money out of your wallet, any paper out of your wallet and give it to anybody, you've basically just, done a Bitcoin exchange, except it was with, US dollars instead of something called US dollars instead of something called Bitcoin. And so what happens is if the Fed say we're going to raise interest rates 3% this year, for example, I'm taking a larger number than probably they would say.
Well, you can go ahead and stop sharing the screen. Let me see. Oh, yeah. We're done with Bitcoin and where it's headed or where it possibly could go. But.
Right. Thanks. So, for example, let's say that I bought a house 2 years ago, and my mortgage rate was 2%. And I have no problem paying my mortgage at 2%. But if it goes up 3% and I have to refinance, so basically when you get a mortgage, after a certain number of years, you go back to the bank and say, hey, Mr. Banker, I have a 30 or 40 year mortgage, but I have to renew it. So that means I have to, get a new interest rate and everything else. And if it's 2%, it's no problem. But if it's 5%, now all of a sudden I can't live there anymore because I cannot afford that mortgage. So now I have to sell. And when everybody on the market is selling, the price goes down. It's a bear market, right? So and then that negatively impacts a whole bunch of other businesses in the economy and all the rest of it. So usually, I don't know if it's still true today, because there's just been so much money pumped into the economy by the government that it changed the rules slightly. But usually, you'll see everything drop when the interest rates go up, because all of a sudden people can't afford. I might be able to afford my mortgage at 5%, but I can't go out for dinner anymore. I can't buy a new TV. I'm going to have to make my car last another year. So all of a sudden, I'm not spending any money on anything, which means now the car dealer's got excess inventory. He's got to drop his prices in order to sell his cars to make room for the next year's cars that are supposed to come in. The restaurant guy's got to lay off his staff because I'm not coming in to eat anymore. And it just goes on and on. I'm buying the generic brand of corn instead of premium brand of canned corn. Everything just contracts.
And so it's like a domino effect, huh? So that's why everyone's kind of, holding their money, waiting and seeing, because even the stock market's taking a hit as well.
Yeah.
Because everyone's, got that fear of, how would this affect the economy and myself and businesses and all that.
Yeah. And I think what the economy hates the most is uncertainty, right? So on today, and I think it's called an FOMC, which I don't know what that stands for, but it's FOMC day. And these are days of massive uncertainty, right? Because what is the Fed going to do? They've hinted about this, they've hinted about that, but we don't know, right? And the people that know immediately, then they throw their money. Like when I'm talking about the people, I'm talking about large hedge funds, large banks. They know to either get their money in or get their money out of something. And when they do it, they don't just, like you and I sell 100 shares of IBM. They sell, 20 billion shares of IBM, and boom, everything just drops like crazy. Or it goes through the roof like crazy, right? And we've seen some really strange things when it comes to the market in the last year. Like in real estate, Zillow, which was a website where you could buy and sell houses, started buying houses. And